that both of these teams could be tired. And maybe also what is really going on is the issue of injuries. You know, yesterday, I can tell you, David, we had one of the most intensive, I think, first and second quarters. And the intensity was even much more than the guys' game, especially for the girls. So there could be also maybe a possibility of injuries. Players, you know, trying to exercise caution and maybe struggling, you know, to overcome that psychological barrier that you earlier hinted to. And yes, they could be tired, but so far, I think both teams are just showing us that slow rhythm and tempo. You know, at first I thought maybe they're yet to find themselves. I can see teams finding themselves, but the tempo is still low.
Indeed, Wendy, I agree with you. I feel to say both teams right now are actually struggling. Right now, we have more turnovers than points. We'll definitely give you an update on the stats of the first half. But at the moment, the way things are looking, both teams, they look to say, I know to say Zambia right now is pressured, you know, to carry the day. But at the end of the day, even just their, you know, offensive ability, the offensive capability that we saw yesterday, that fighting strength, that extra pushed hard yesterday. Today, most players are struggling, and the likes of Abigail, I know to say she is the smallest, the quickest. Even with pressure now, she's able to withstand the pressure. But in today's game, I feel to say the Zimbabwe have done a really, really good job in putting pressure now, and her not really getting the basketball. But I feel to say she can actually do a better job, and the teammates can actually help her in, having her get the basketball, off a screen, or just having her cut the rim, or running something, just getting the basketball, having her more involved in the game. So as things stand, Zambia are actually looking at a third quarter. If they do not change their tactical approach in the third quarter, we are seeing more of the same game being played until the last quarter.
Indeed, David, and we've got a comment from your friend Kelvin Bain, who is saying something very valuable in this game. And Kelvin is talking about Zimbabwe making a lot of adjustments, which I 100% agree with him, and that has seen in the way that Zimbabwe is approaching the game today, which they seem to be more comfortable. And he is also talking about the issue of Zimbabwean scorers not really stepping up to the fort, something again that is very accurate, and largely it's because the ball movement is not really being very targeted. And when I say targeted, I mean the ball ending up in the hands of their lead scorer. So we haven't seen much of that. But again, to respond to Kelvin Bain, I would say we haven't seen Lisa check into this game. She is one of the lethal scorers that Zambia couldn't stop yesterday. So maybe if Lisa was on the floor, probably we could have seen a different Zimbabwe where scoring is concerned, considering the fact that the adjustments that they've made so far are yielding them some decent results, as they're leading by a point as we speak at 18 baskets to 17 at the half.
I'm actually delighted to hear Kelvin Bain commenting on today's game. Yesterday he was very, very quiet, but very, very valid points, Coach Kelvin. And it's really, really important that Zimbabwe has done these changes. But it's unfortunate that their captain, who carried them yesterday, has seen more minutes on the bench than on the floor. Join us as we go. Join us in about 10 minutes as we run you through the stats for the first half.
We are right now joined by the NBA Secretary General, Mrs. Yvonne. What do you think about the game so far?
So far, so good. It's interesting. Today's game is very tough, but I'm very sure that we are going to win it.
I don't know. I'm guessing here. I'm sure you're supporting the Zambian ladies, all right?
Most definitely. Once Zambian, always Zambian. I will support Zambia all the time.
What do you think they need to do differently today? We've seen them struggle a bit. What do you think they need to do different to win the game?
I'm thinking on the baseline, the big men should step on the line or close off that gap, because that is where the Zimbabwean team has been taking advantage. And we need to slow down. We need to relax. Our guards should pass the ball around. Then we'll have good openings to score.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm joined by one of the Zambian coaches, Mrs. Chimwemwe Mwanza. What do you think the Zambian ladies need to do a bit different in the second half?
We need to rebound and run.
What do you think is not working today that worked yesterday?
The ladies are a bit fatigued today, and then we've got a bit of injuries on our side. So we're trying to manage that and see how we can. We've got more games coming up, so we are seeing how we can manage the players.
We've seen Cholwe sort of nursing an injury. How is she, and is she ready to go for the second half?
She is ready to go for the second half, but with caution.
Thank you so much. All the best in the second half.
Thank you.
So in the VIP section, if you're putting on a green tag, you're not supposed to be in the VIP section. Our green tag was here, and we will go to the VIP section. Thank you. So we're underway right now, third quarter. Team Zambia 17, Team ZIMBABWE 18. Right after this one, we get to watch the under 18 main right here in Zimbabwe versus Zambia. So we still enjoying the games. And of course, this is the FIBA Afro Basket 6 qualifiers. Let's do this.
Welcome back to Zambia versus Zimbabwe under 18 Afro basketball qualifiers. At things stand, Zimbabwe right now have come out with authority and are leading by 21 points to 17. Right now, Abigail goes and misses a layup. Great aggression from Abigail. So now, talking about the second quarter. Zambia statistically looked very, very bad when it came to the second quarter statistics. Points from turnover, Zambia only had 4, Zimbabwe 9. Second chance points, Zambia 2, Zimbabwe 4. Fast break points, Zambia 2, Zimbabwe 1. Bench points, it seems Zambia is doing a great job from the bench, having a total of 5 points and Zimbabwe none. So as things stand, Zimbabwe are doing a bad job with their bench points. But now, Coach Jeremiah, you had a chance to interact with both coaches at halftime. You can give us a rundown of what to expect from the coaching staff in this third quarter.
Well, the Zambian head coach mentioned that they had to execute better and they had to rebound better as well. They had the coaches alluded to the fact that the Zambian women were not boxing out as they should, and that was allowing Zimbabwe to have a lot of second chances and pick up a lot of rebounds. The Zimbabwe technical bench, on the other hand, said they'll look to continue pressuring the Zambian paint to see if they can pick up fouls and go on the line and put the Zambian forwards in trouble so that they can capitalize on their height advantage.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach Jeremiah, on that update. And it's actually very, very true. Looking at the strategy that Zimbabwe is deploying at the moment, great layup by Zambia there. This is the injured player we're talking about. I feel to say, what we're seeing from these ladies is actually commendable. This is somebody that from get-go has been struggling with knee injury, and looking at her explosiveness, even when, her jumping high, she's putting her body on the line right now for Team Zambia, and it's actually very, very commendable. And I applaud her for, her effort and the sacrifice.
I talked to the Zambian team doctor at halftime, and she said the injuries to Sheila and Cholo are quite significant, but everything is touch and go, and they're doing everything to make sure that they're able to play and they're able to run, but everything is with caution right now.
Indeed. Right now, the sacrifice the ladies are putting on the line, I feel to say they need to be recognized. And if the president is watching right now, Mr. HH, Labor Day Awards, we need to honor these kids for their sacrifice.
I totally agree with you, David. President Hakainde Hichilema, who is a strong proponent of women being involved in so many activities, sports inclusive, I think it would be befitting to be able to just reward these young ladies. Lisa is back in the game.
Indeed, she is.
Okay. So it was actually a tactical reason that they kept her on the bench throughout the first half. So Lisa is back, and as usual, she gets the first foul. Quite very handy for Team Zimbabwe. And David, when everything is on the line and your country calls on you, obviously you make the sacrifice that you have to. And one day, these young ladies will live to tell the tale. Impressive defense there from Team Zimbabwe, but unfortunately, that has resulted into a turnover.
Now, talking about transition defense, Zimbabwe, you get a free lane, open lane to the basket, and you turn over that basketball. I believe right now the Zimbabwean coach should be fuming.
Finally, she finds the back of the net for Team Zimbabwe, and this is no other than Chikwa Chinaishe Chiedza for Team Zimbabwe. Zambia responds as well. And it is no other than Shanzi Taonga from Team Zambia who was able to respond. It is 24-25 baskets. Zimbabwe in the lead here at the Nasdaq Arena. 4 minutes played so far in the third quarter. Lisa Mpofu has checked into the game for Team Zimbabwe. And already the tactic has changed. Team Zimbabwe is looking for Lisa inside the paint.
And talking about tactics, Wendy, I feel even Coach Mule has responded, looking at how he's trying to reserve Sheila for the last quarter. I believe he's limiting a minute, looking at the looking at how she's struggling with that's a right leg, right knee. So I view to say he's going to call upon. Hey, talking about Sheila, she's actually substituting back in. So clearly, Coach Mlenga. Oh, it's actually the same player. Oh, Katongo picked up her third foul. Okay. Now that makes sense. I was wondering why, she has played only. She has 4 fouls. Interesting. So this is going to be an interesting ball game. Now Zambia is struggling on the point guard position at the moment.
So 3-second violation there against Team Zambia. Zimbabwe has an opportunity to be able to again retain or reclaim the lead, as it is 25 apiece. 5 minutes 40 seconds remaining on the clock. Team Zimbabwe, it is Agent Zero Nyongo bringing out the basketball, trying to work out something. But so far we've seen Team Zimbabwe starting to shoot from beyond the arc. David, is this something that Team Zambia needs to really see how best they can prevent? There goes another shot, and it is nothing but a basket. And the Zimbabwean fans in this arena are excited.
And talking about having outside presence, this is exactly what I was expecting Zimbabwe to do in the first and second quarter. And right now they're showing us, they actually can shoot. And J30 has actually made 2 in a row. This is something that they need to explore more and try and see how well they can, punish Zambia. Because if you look at right now, Zambia is more focused on closing up the paint, and this outside shooting is actually going to stretch their, their defensive rotation. And Sepa subs in. And talking about player management, Wendy, your thoughts on? Oh my word! How did she miss that? Great move right there. But now talking about player management. Oh, that was a wild shot. But talking about player management, shot. Abigail, I haven't seen Abigail sit down this game.
And I'll be very honest with you. Even yesterday, it was the same thing. But the energy with which Abigail is running is just amazing and hard to believe. Beautiful move there. Wow, unfortunately, she just couldn't quite secure that 2 points for Team Zimbabwe. But you are looking at Shuma Tabisile, who did a very wonderful fake from inside the paint there for Team Zimbabwe. And she is going on the foul line to be able to convert from there, possibly. But is it really a problem, though? Because Abigail, I'm not seeing any signs of her getting tired.
Well, she rested for 3 minutes, and I guess they're counting the minutes in between quarters as well. So that's a lot of rest for Abigail.
Yeah, but I feel to say the amount of energy this girl has, it needs to be. You see, when you want to say Sepa can be the X factor. Right now, Zambia deploying the full court press as expected in the third quarter. We expected this in the first quarter. I believe Coach Mule had tactically reserved the energy for these players to say, we're going to press them in the third quarter and make it. Right now, we can see to say Zimbabwe are having a hard time. Travel call, on Wupe or on Sheila.
So Team Zimbabwe right now have an opportunity, David, to be able to work something out. Agent Zero Nyongo gets the ball, takes it all the way to the rack, and nearly turns it over. And it is a turnover as a charge is caught against Team Zimbabwe. So Zambia now have an opportunity to be able to come through and possibly take the lead. What's the call?
It was an offensive foul, but the referee had not finished signaling to the table, and the ball was inbounded, so that's why they've called it back that side.
Talking about going punch for punch, Wendy, right now the game is tied up at 29-29. So are we going to see an explosive finish to this game? Look at Sepa right now being assertive and being focused, attacking the rim. This is what expected. And
I think the idea was great. David. She clearly knew. I was wondering, why she was driving, going up against the tall trees, and to see her knowing exactly where Cholo was is something that is very commendable. Cholo thinks about launching a three. Cholo takes it to the rack. Cholo manages to convert, picks it on rebound. Cholo takes it back and secures
Cholo finally gets the first points. These are first points.
Really?
Indeed.
Interesting. Okay. Zimbabwe on the attack, but unfortunately, it's Zambia that secures the rebound there.
Clearly now, Zambia are being more assertive when it comes to attacking the rim. Right now, we've seen a turn in the momentum, especially with the Zambian females, because right now they're putting ball pressure, playing full court defense, and running good transitional offense. It's just unfortunate that they couldn't convert on the last possession, but right now we're seeing a sense of agency from Zambia when it comes to playing defense.
Team Zimbabwe nearly turning the ball over
right now. They're being tested. Look at that. Excellent defense by Abigail.
Team Zimbabwe on the attack, David. It is Sibanda. Sibanda launches a 2-point mid-range shot, but unfortunately that didn't go in. Team Zimbabwe still trying to work something offensively. It is no other than Lisa Mpofu, the skipper, back in this game, announcing her presence, doing everything to keep the hopes of Zimbabwe alive in this encounter. Whoever wins today, if Zambia maintain a win again, they go to South Africa comfortably. But Zimbabwe has an uphill battle, David, to be able to make sure that they win by more than 11 baskets to be able to book themselves a trip to South Africa to play the second round of qualifications. It is a timeout now.
Indeed, Wendy, when we saw the game starting, Zimbabwe actually chipped into the 11-point deficit by starting a game by scoring 11 points to 0. But unfortunately, Zambia got back, and as things stand, we are in the third quarter, 8 minutes played, and the scoreline is Zimbabwe 31, Zambia 31. So now, Wendy, looking at the way, the pace at which the game has turned out to be, what would be your advice? Looking at, how both teams are playing. Let's say you're a Zimbabwean coach, what exactly would you look for right now?
I think, David, in this particular game, my best shot would be the skipper, Lisa Mpofu. One of the things that Zimbabwe has struggled to do throughout this game, as observed by Kelvin Bain, is getting the ball to the scorers, to the people that have an advantage to finish. They have not done that very well. So if I'm the coach right now, I would be on my guards to make sure that we get the ball to Lisa, and then we stick to the swing. And remember, we've seen Zimbabwe knock down 2 3-pointers in this quarter alone. So that is one area that I would also prefer that Zimbabwe maintains to be able to keep an edge. We are at 31 apiece in this encounter. Zambia with the steal. It is Seppo, and the fans are loving it. Seppo on the layup. Seppo fails to finish. Lisa Mpofu comfortably secures the rebound for Team Zimbabwe. Coach Jeremiah, you were from the court side. What was discussed in the timeouts?
Well, the Zambian head coach, Coach Mlenga, was emphasizing the point that this is, I think, the first time that Zimbabwe has gone with 2 forwards on the floor. And he was telling Sepa to take advantage of that by playing on the screen and roll. By playing on the screen and roll, so that she could have a mismatch with one of the forwards in case of a switch. On the other hand, the Zimbabwean coach was emphasizing the point that they're leaving the paints too open because Sepa has had some runs to the hoop, and he wants that paint limitation done.
Interesting there. So we have Cholwe exciting the Zambian fans with a 3-point play opportunity. She did go to the hoop hard, managed to convert for Team Zambia. She's now on the foul line to be able to complete the play with a shot. Unfortunately,
talk about putting your body on the line. This is somebody that's struggling with a knee. She goes in, puts her body on the line. Commendable. Very, very commendable. The sacrifice these ladies are putting in, it's just admirable.
Team Zimbabwe right now on the attack, and it is Ntokozo. Ntokozo hands it over to Tinashe. It is
great defensive hustle there by Team Zambia. They've switched on. They've actually gone into a man defense, as we alluded to say. They need to test Zimbabwe, and it's actually paying dividends at the moment. Cholwe pulls up and can convert and foul on Shanzi Taonga.
I'm still wondering why Cholwe decided David to be able to shoot that ball when she could have easily taken the defender on. That was a one-on-one opportunity. The paint was free. There was no help on the defender. Chiamaka there missing her first attempt on the foul line for Team Zimbabwe. It is 31-33. Zambia still, Zimbabwe in the lead at the moment.
Indeed.
Zimbabwe in the lead at the moment. It is Zambia. Oh, Zambia in the lead, 33-32. It's a 1-point game. Seppo with the handles, trying to dance around with the basketball as the clock ticks. Seppo nearly converts. Brilliant move. Unfortunately, not being able to convert it. But that was an excellent move there from Seppo. What a good turn there. Listen, Pofu. Abigail with the basket. Abigail passes.
Excellent ball movement there by Abigail. You know, Wendy, if you notice something, every time Abigail gets the basketball, something good happens. Unfortunately, Abigail, I guess that's the commentator's curse. Great defensive hustle by Abigail and Sepa. And Sepa scores. Wendy, the X factor in today's game, Sepa has stepped up. Great basketball. Way to finish a corner.
Indeed, David, what a way to close the quarter for Team Zambia that are currently sitting on 37 baskets to 32 at the end of the third quarter. I know that the Zimbabweans strategically and tactfully kept Lisa Mpofu, but remember what we spoke about earlier on. I feel Lisa should have started this game. Looking at Zambia's struggles with injuries at the moment, and it's not like the coaches can't see it, you know. Zambia's best player at the moment, Cholwe, is struggling. She's sitting on, I think, 6 points, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 4 points, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 7, somewhere there. But David, I feel Lisa should should have been the difference maker for Team Zimbabwe. I'm okay with Chiamaka and Sibanda, but Sibanda clearly seems to be tired today, who is the scorer and hasn't had much of the ball. And Chiamaka is more on the defensive and rebounding side, not necessarily on the offensive end. So this is something that perhaps Team Zimbabwe may leave to regret if the fortunes of this game don't change.
I agree with you, Wendy. I feel to say Popu should have started this game and should have played more minutes, looking at the fact that right now Cholwe is struggling with a knee injury. She would have been the player that would have put more pressure on Cholwe, force her to commit those fouls or just keep attacking that weak leg. But right now, with things done, Cholwe has actually found a rhythm back in the game. And, we can see a different kind of game she's playing right now. So it's up to the coach to find a working five right now for Zimbabwe that's going to chip into that score and hoping to say they're going to get the lead and make sure to say they get that 12-point game-winning basket.
Yeah, and the combination of Seppo and Abigail is really doing much damage to Team Zimbabwe over there. Something that needs to be looked at. We haven't also seen much from Nyongo, who has had a difficult task of guarding Abigail from Zambia. And Abigail can run the whole game, which she has done. And it's difficult for Nyongo to be able to help Team Zimbabwe with the points and at the same time be able to defend a player. As you can see already, she's playing full court press on Abigail.
Indeed, Wendy, I feel to say right now, Agent Zero is more focused on the defensive end as opposed to the offensive end. She's exerting a lot of energy guarding Abigail, who's right now has shown to say she's so energetic and somebody that can run down a player to a point where Agent Zero has in the second quarter didn't even score any point. Yeah, so she's as much as she's more focused on the defensive end, and she's doing a good job. Though here and there, Abigail is slipping off and getting those. Though we see Sepa now trying to show us a handle. Great footwork by Sepa. Excellent basketball.
Sepa David is conducting a clinic right now in Lusaka. Talk about the dribbling. Talk about the crossover. Abigail on the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, the Zambian crowd is fired up. It is no other than Abigail, a small little girl. David, talk about stature not being a factor, but she has the ability, she has the strength to carry the nation of 19.5 million Zambians right now that are watching and cheering for her. Yes, David, we are witnessing right now, if at all people have had an opportunity to see how the battle of David and Goliath look like, well, they better watch Abigail in this game.
Indeed, Wendy, she's actually picked up where she left off yesterday in the way she's playing and attacking. Wendy, talking about Abigail, this is one person that in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, she was more on the reserve end. But now coming into the fourth quarter, she's showing us what she's made of. Defensively, putting pressure on Agent Zero. Right now,
there goes Abigail, picking her own rebound. My word, this girl has got energy from out of this planet, David.
Indeed, Wendy, right now she's stepping up. She knows to say, this is when the game counts the most. Fourth quarter. How you close the game matters.
Very much agreed with you, David. How you close the game matters. Let's now get to hear from Coach Jeremiah, who took an opportunity to hear from the coaches during the break.
From the Zambian side, Coach Mulenga was encouraging Seppo to keep working her magic and to keep exploiting the mismatches that she's finding and the spaces in the paint. Seeing that Abigail is being guarded full court, this is allowing her a lot of space to work with. As we see her, Abigail hit the three-pointer.
Abigail. It's an Abigail show, David.
Talk about hot. Talk about carrying your team in the last quarter.
Man,
remember this name.
Right,
Abigail.
exactly. Abigail. Zimbabwe is going to remember the name. I'm just so mesmerized right now, Dave. I mean, I'm trying to process the kind of heart that I'm seeing right now from Abigail.
I think we can see from the smiles from her head coach, Mr. Mwape Consolo. I'm sure this is something that is used to seeing Abigail do on a regular basis, probably at practice and during games. He's very happy and he's high-fiving people in the audience. She's having a brilliant game. Speaking of Sepo, we earlier caught up with her in the morning, and she was so cautious of her game yesterday. She wasn't happy with the way she performed offensively yesterday, and she promised us that she would get nothing less than 10 points. And I think she's done good on her promise so far, which is good, seeing that we've got another offensive option other than Cholwe, who's today has struggled, as we have already seen, especially with her carrying an injury.
Indeed, Coach Jeremiah, Coach Mwape right now must be a proud man, because Abigail is carrying the hopes of Zambia as the country stands on the verge of qualifying for the first time to the second round under FIBA, to be able to go on a campaign to face South Africa and perhaps make it through to the tournament for under 18, to the continental tournament for under 18. Zambia looking all good right now, but miscommunication right there from Sepo and Abigail. I think Sepo should have been a little bit patient on that play. But what will be more important in this game, as we are looking at a 10-point lead, 42 to 32, 42 to 32, 8 minutes to go, is how Zimbabwe will respond. I must mention, gentlemen, that we still have a whole lot of basketball to play. 8 minutes is a lot of time in a game of basketball.
We saw from the earlier possession where Zambia made a turnover that Zambia has changed their tactics a bit. Cholwe is starting out in the corner, and Abigail is taking a pin down screen and hoping for that switch where Cholwe might have a mismatch in the paint and Abigail might be faced with a forward on the three-point line. We hope that it will work as Sepo picks up 2 quick fouls.
And talking about the action, you know, earlier earlier spoke about how Cholwe has been camping in the paint. And in the fourth quarter, we've seen her coming from the right corner. Yeah, she's forcing the tallest guy from Zimbabwe, Mpofu, to be playing outside and opening up a lane for Sepa, who we have seen to say she's been driving to the hoop, making those baskets. And this is something that they would have done earlier and, have, accelerated it. But I believe to say Coach Mule had, other plans. And clearly in the fourth quarter, they've adhered to a strategy of pushing Cholwe outside so that the tallest guy, Mpofu, can play outside the key, opening up the lane.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant strategy and brilliant adjustment there from Coach Mule. And earlier on, I had an opportunity to interface with Sekuru Martin just to find out how he's feeling today. As you well know, he was supposed to be another basket there from Cholwe from Team Zambia, extending the lead to 12 points, 32 to 42 baskets, 7 minutes remaining on the clock. So one of the things that Coach Martin was telling me as I was checking on him is that, it will be important how Coach Mule responds to the tactical adjustment that Zimbabwe was going to make. And clearly, David, what you are talking about is speaking, to what Sekuru Martin was basically talking about, that this game is still within the grasp of Zambia, irrespective of the injuries, depending on the response that we will see. Zimbabwe on the attack, but unfortunately, that ball hasn't materialized to anything. Good defensive rebound there. Zambia with an opportunity to advance on offense.
Well, I would like to see how Zambia will adjust with Sepo not on the floor, as she has picked up her 4th foul, and with 7 minutes to go, that's a lot of time. So she's been pulled out, and the other Sheila in the team has been put on the floor.
That's a bit of a long pass over there.
Yeah,
this is too much there from, for Abigail.
Yeah, I feel to say this is the right time for Sheila to step up. I can see she's coming. She's playing at the primary point guard at the moment, and this definitely will be a challenge on her. But Team Zimbabwe is actually not even putting pressure on Sheila, so I feel to say she's comfortable. 2-point attempt by Shanzi Taonga, that she hits nothing but air.
Exactly. 6 minutes, 33 seconds remaining on the clock. 44-32. Zambia still in the lead. Another quick foul there for Team Zambia. Team Zimbabwe is still struggling offensively. And we've seen the Zimbabwe head coach at the moment removing the starters, apart from, in fact, Lisampofo is out. You have Nyongo is out. Chiamaka has been on the bench for some time now.
This full court defense by Zambia has really given Zimbabwe a lot to think about.
Abigail on the rebound.
They have been tested, and Abigail has really, really tested Zimbabwe. They really need to figure out how they're going to stop and, you know, calm down the energy that Abigail is.
I'll tell you one thing, David. It's very difficult to stop somebody who moves at the speed of light. You know, if at all there was ever a female version of the Flash, we are looking at her right now in Abigail. And no legs on Team Zim right now can run with Abigail, except Nyongo, who apparently is tired and seated on the bench right now. It is timeout for both teams, and we will see what Team Zimbabwe will be able to, you know, roll out in terms of tactical response to the 12 points deficit that they're currently sitting on. It is 6 minutes, 18 seconds, still 44-32 baskets here at the Nasdaq Arena in Lusaka, where the FIBA Afro Basket Under-18 qualifiers are taking place. Zambia right now is 4 minutes away, 6 minutes away from achieving the dream of going to the second round of qualifiers in South Africa. Could this be the time? Could this be the generation that will be able to change the narrative surrounding Zambian basketball on the international plane? Well, we have 6 minutes, 18 seconds on the clock to be able to see that. And for Team Zimbabwe, we know that Zimbabwe on the international stage have had some success, David. But again, do they have what it takes in the next 6 minutes to be able to defend their pride as a nation and beat Zambia by more than 11 points on aggregate?
Right now, with the way things are going, anything is possible, Wendy. In the game of basketball, anything is possible. Because we saw to say at the beginning of the game, Zimbabwe actually did make 11 points without Zambia scoring. So they went on an 11-0 run. So anything is possible. 6 minutes is a lot of time for Zimbabwe to come back and actually clinch a win from here. Now, talking about the conversation on Facebook, right now Twigs is actually recruiting. Twigs has commented to say Abigail, Cholwe, and Sepa for Nets. She's campaigning for these ladies to play for the legendary Nets team. Twigs, I believe you know who you can talk to. You can talk to Coach Mwape and definitely have a candid conversation with him.
I thought, David, that was supposed to be a box out. I mean, that was a legal box out, Coach Jeremiah.
I think the coach is saying that was an illegal shove by Cholo on the rebound. Maybe I think she was tagging on the jersey of the Zimbabwean as she was boxing out.
Lisampofo with the basket in the paint for Team Zimbabwe. Sivanda. Again, it's an air ball for Team Zimbabwe. Zambia turns it over. 5 minutes remaining on the clock. Still a 12-point game. And there's a turnover there for Team Zimbabwe. Zambian coaches there furiously screaming at the players for not being careful with the basketball.
I feel Abigail is showing signs of being tired.
She is tired, David. She
needs to take a breather. Excellent pass. Unfortunately, Zambia couldn't convert on that point.
Yeah, Taonga couldn't catch that pass. Zimbabwe on the attack. Zimbabwe still looking to work something out, but nothing is materializing here. It is Cholo with the basketball, trying to advance forward for Team Zambia. 4 minutes remaining on the clock. It is an offensive foul for Team Zambia. And it is Chonwe. Coach Jeremiah, how many fouls is Chonwe sitting on at the moment?
That is what seems to be a third foul. It's a third foul.
So we have 4 minutes remaining on the clock. And Zambia's Chonwe is sitting on 4 fouls. Zimbabwe trying to work something out. Again, another air ball. And I think, David, if Zimbabwe can start capitalizing on the turnovers that we are seeing Team Zambia make throughout, it would really mean something for them.
Talk about showing up in the fourth quarter when it matters the most. This is somebody that went 2 quarters without a basket. And right now, she's showing us to say, this is what she's made of. The last quarter, showing us what she can do on offense. Cholwe, stepping up when Seppo is sitting on the bench.
Cholwe secures her 4th foul.
No, that's
David, and Lisa Mpofu is the person to be able to gift her that at this stage of the game.
No, it's actually Wendy. It's actually Sheila who just picked up that foul.
Oh, it's actually Sheila.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Cholwe. So Lisa is on the line. She missed the first one, and Zambia secures the rebound. It is 32-46. 4 minutes, 15 seconds remaining on the clock. Zambia trying to find something. Cholwe launches the 3-pointer. Cholwe, the ball just rims out. Going back to your point, David, that foul committed by Abigail is a sign that she's tired.
And seen as the Zambia is in the penalty, Zimbabwe will shoot 2.
We haven't seen very much of Subanda from the Zimbabwean team today. Yesterday, she had a brilliant game. She was the second scorer and second rebounder for Team Zimbabwe. But today, she's had a very difficult time to be able to just work something out.
Right now, Zimbabwe struggling to make points, and time is not siding with them. Looking at right now, we're only remaining with 4 minutes.
And
but
is,
you know, one thing I've noticed, Wendy, is when they began the third quarter actually. Not the third quarter, the fourth quarter. They hit those 2 threes. And right now, we haven't seen any shots taken from outside. Can you attribute this to tired legs, or the coach has actually changed the strategy? Because I feel to say, they should have continued shooting from outside to stretch the defense. Because at the moment, they need to make those shots. If they have to cut into this lead, they need to be very, very assertive in how many times they attack the rim.
So Zimbabwean coach makes a tactical change. Oh, actually, it's not even a tactical change. Subanda has been fouled out for Team Zimbabwe at the moment. Chiamaka comes in as Zambia's Mbulo Schiller misses on the line. She has an opportunity for the second one, and she makes it. So, David, I agree with you. Team Zimbabwe began very well in the fourth quarter with those 3-point shots. And this is something that probably we could have expected to see more of. There goes a wide opportunity for shooting. But unfortunately, the player decided to drive in. Lisa Mpofu secures the rebound and manages to put Team Zambia in trouble. Now, earlier on, David, I'll still stand by my point. Each time Lisa gets the ball in the paint, there's always trouble. Something good happens for Zimbabwe, and trouble comes for Team Zambia.
We need to get an explanation from the coach to why he's limited our minutes to the fourth quarter. For me, I feel to say I agree with you. Lisa and Simanda yesterday did a very, very good job and actually gave Zambia a good run for that win. So for them to start with Lisa with Pofu on the bench, you know, it's something that, you know, I feel to say they should have, you know, maybe consider to say, have these two play their game in the paint, because they've gone back to the default play of running everything in the paint. So this should have been something that they should have, you know, they should have looked at to say, we need to have height in the paint to control and get those second chance points. Because right now, their second chance points, I feel to say they've only, as much as they've gotten over 10 rebounds, but they haven't had so many second chance points. So this has really costed this game.
Jumbo there, and it is Team Zimbabwe's possession. We are beginning to hear chants from the crowd that more Zambian players need to be given an opportunity to play in this game, considering the fact that Zambia has a lead. It is 47 baskets to 34, 3 minutes remaining on the clock. Zambia on the defense, and guess who intercepted? Abigail. Turnover there from Seppo. The chants are making Coach Jeremiah laugh here, you know. People are beginning to scream in the crowds that Zambia has already won this game. So each and every player has to be given an opportunity to have a feel of this game.
Yeah, in the
isn't that her fifth foul now?
This is a aggression that, this is a aggression that Zambia needed.
As we've seen some
you know, Zimbabwe right now, they need to be very, very aggressive. And I've seen to say, has Agent Zero been on the bench this whole time, or she's been on the floor?
Agent Zero David got tired, and that is Nyongo, for those that may not know who we're referring to, from Team Zimbabwe. She got tired, David, by the second quarter. So the coach needed to sub her just to give an opportunity to rest and catch a breath. As you can see now, she's even failing to play proper defense on Seppo. And yet, she was doing an amazing job on Abigail, who's apparently the fastest player for Team Zambia.
So right now, Zambia trying to work with the clock. Great pass right there. So
good block there from Lisampofo. Did you see the block there from Lisampofo?
Indeed, Wendy, indeed.
Those could have been the perks that Lisa could have accorded Team Zimbabwe had she had a chance to play in the first and second quarter.
As we've seen, Sheila Mbolo has been fouled out.
Right now, Wendy, looking at the comment section right now, I can see to say a lot of people are, you know, drafting up contracts for these players to play for their team. I can see Allison and Twigs.
Who are the bidders?
And apparently, Basket Queens are in the conversation now.
Well, David, one thing's for sure. We would like to extend and inform everyone clearly that we are the only agent representing these players. So anybody who's interested, you better hit our inbox or send that email so that we can start talking.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And please be warned to say we are not we're not expecting anything less than anyone who talk after the game. Right now, Zambia trying to work the clock. Pull up shot by Seppo and misses. Coach Jeremiah, do you see who touched the basketball last?
It was
the ball didn't only hit the rim.
No, it was Lisa. Lisa touched the ball.
Oh, Lisa touched the ball last. Okay, now Zambia gets a shot by Sepa.
So we have a minute 50 seconds remaining on the clock. 39-47. Team Zimbabwe finally working something out, courtesy of Tinaishe Chieza, who has given Team Zimbabwe 41, who has given 2 points to take Team Zimbabwe to 41. Good block there from Lisampovu, who has managed to block Abigail for the first time
in this
since this game. Steal for Team Zambia. Again, listen, powerful, ladies and gentlemen. My word, this girl is a hard worker. Imagine David.
Zimbabwe right now.
Lisa again secures the offensive rebound and gets the foul for Team Zimbabwe. Each time this girl, David, gets the ball, something happens for Team Zimbabwe. And right now, if the coaches tactically decided to sit this girl for the first 2 quarters, then they must be dearly regretting.
Now, talking about having problems, right now Team Zambia are having a problem with fouls. Right now, 3 players from Zambia have fouled out. So Coach Mule has to make a serious tactical change because 3 of the key players are fouled out.
Indeed, David, this is something
1 minute, 22 seconds on the clock.
And Zambia is leading by only 6 points.
6 points.
It's 41 to 47 baskets, a minute, 22 seconds remaining. Yeah, so we will be able to see. And like you said earlier on, David, how you start a game is important. But what is more important is how you close the game. So
it's actually important test.
Exactly. So we are yet to see how Team Zambia will be able to close this game. But as it stands, Team Zambia right now is on the verge of qualifying to the second round by virtue of the goal aggregate difference. Zambia yesterday won by 11 points and currently they're sitting on a 6 point. So you are looking at Zambia leading by 15, which has been reduced to 14 now.
I think the importantest point is the one you've mentioned about the aggregate from yesterday. Looking at the time left in the game, I think Zambia has that 11-point cushion that they can still rely on in case of anything goes wild.
So Team Zambia turns it over. A minute, 5 seconds remaining, and Zimbabwe coach is calling for a timeout.
So right now, Wendy, I know to say Zambia are trying to work with the clock. Yeah, we've noticed in these 3 possessions, the point guards, are dribbling the basketball, trying to run down the clock, but it's not really working in their favor because right now they haven't really attacked the rim. And Zimbabwe actually playing a very good, defensive rotation on the guards, forcing them to make those turnovers. I feel to say Coach Mule right now should just tell the ladies to say, let's play, let's close the game. Yeah, because this, as much as they want to run down the clock, right now they have to score if they have to win this game.
Indeed, David, you're very much correct. Team Zambia needs to show some character and be able to hold on and secure this victory. But Team Zimbabwe, on the other hand, has to be able to show much more character to be able to ensure that even if they may not beat Zambia on aggregate, but they can still secure a victory in game 2 for the sake of pride. I mean, it is always important and it will go a long way to be able to boost the confidence of these young players. But one of the things, David, I'll still give these young players, from Zimbabwe, irrespective of the result that may come from this game, is the fact that the future of this country, where female basketball is concerned, remains bright.
Indeed, Wendy, looking at how well these ladies have been drilled, looking at their fundamentals, and okay, right now the fans reacting to that call by the referee. Apparently, from here where we're sitting right, and all I saw was Zambia had a clear box out, and Lisa actually reached over a Zambian player. How that call was made, I don't know, Wendy. I don't know what you think about that call. Was that a correct call? Or
That's
now,
a dangerous foul,
right
David.
on the knee.
That's a dangerous foul right on the knee.
Yeah.
We have 49.2 seconds remaining on the clock. It is 47-42, a 5-point game. Cholwe of Team Zambia is currently on the floor and holding on to a knee, but luckily it's not where the tape is. But we hope it's not messed up as well.
Well, the team doctor at halftime actually told me that Cholwe was complaining of knee discomfort in both her knees. So we are hoping that the one that was impacted wasn't the bad one.
So getting to the comments on Facebook, there's a comment by Alison talking about, player development when it comes to, the females. I agree with this point, but, the only thing that's remaining is the old players, Alison, Twigs, everybody stepping up and developing the girl child. This is something that, has been non-existent in Zambia, where we are not seeing a lot of female coaches. Great handles by Seppo. Unfortunately, causes a turnover. So getting back to my point, Wendy, I feel to say right now, if the legends in basketball can come together and, mentor these kids so that they show them to say, this is how the game is supposed to play. And they actually, at least do a bit of input where we see female ladies coming to coach, developing our players, then we start seeing a change in basketball. So I applaud you, Alison, for this comment. And I feel to say, this is something that you guys out there need to look at and say, how can we develop? It's not just the guys or the male coaches to develop the females. Even the females, you can develop these players as well.
So I'm going to throw an idea for Twiggy and Alison. Next year, when we are going to have the Legends Tournament, I think part of the other activities that we can have towards the build-up of the Legends Tournament would be clinics for young girls such as this, so that the people that have gone before them, such as yourselves, who have amassed knowledge in the game of basketball, both on and off the court, can come and interact with them and mentor them in that respect. So that is an idea that I thought I could throw out there for these brilliant women who are watching the game and are appreciating, what these young girls are doing in building on their legacy.
And adding on to that point, Wendy, for me, I want to see a camp or a foundation for female basketball development, purely female basketball development. I believe that's something that is going to change the face of Zambian basketball when it comes to the female pop. Yeah. Right now, when you go to these academies and all where they're mixed, you find to say there are more males than females. Why can't we just have something dedicated to the females? And this is something that the females need to do.
Indeed, David, you're very much correct. And Zimbabwe takes the last shot, but unfortunately, it doesn't go in. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Team Zambia. The women for the under-18 have for the first time qualified to the second round of the FIBA under-18 qualifiers that will take place in South Africa. What a joyous moment coming into this encounter, riddled with massive injuries on key players. But the young ladies decided to put their bodies on the line. You can see from the exhaustion from key players like Abigail, who's laying on the court right now, unable to pick herself up. And she is in tears right now, failing to believe this emotional moment for the young lady. Something that she dreamed about, something that one day, she hoped for, worked hard to achieve. As small as she is, being an instrumental and key player for Team Zambia, alongside Cholwe, who played with both knees in this particular game. Congratulations to Team Zambia, and tough luck to our cousins from across the Zambezi River. Right now, the statement that has been posted on the African continent is that Zambia owns the Victoria Force, and the women have spoken. Right now, it remains with the men to be able to add their voice to this conversation in a game that will be coming up next.